guys, a warm welcome back to Sauti TV, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, kindly consider doing so before we jump onto our story today. I know some of you may have in one way or another heard about a guy who goes by the name Douglas Skin Cancer on TikTok, whose real name is Douglas Kipkoech.
Throughout this journey, I never had courage to come out there and speak about this, because of lots of insecurities, lots of skin cancer affected my face so much. So my story starts when I was privileged enough to get a job to work in Qatar. And Qatar is a desert land. It's very, very hot. You cannot walk outside during the day. The sun was affecting my skin and I didn't know.
The reason why we have Douglas in our story today is this. After years of fight and hope that he was one day going to be fine and free from cancer, Douglas lost the battle to cancer and died early this week. So let's have a deep look into the sad story of the cancer complications, how it all started, and how he has been taking his fans through his entire cancer journey from diagnosis to the beginning of his chemotherapy and treatment for the same problem. Now, the diagnosis for cancer for Douglas was cutaneous T-cell lymphoma, which is a rare type of cancer that affects the skin. It all started as what Douglas thought was eczema, which he mentioned that hit him when he was working in Qatar due to the heat, given that Qatar is a desert. I know you all know that. And unfortunately, it later transitioned into skin cancer. It had been a really tough journey for him, but he kept fighting and never lost hope. And in 2018, Douglas had a surgery on his thigh where a lump was removed and taken to the lab, of course, for testing. And the removal of the growth was the genesis of the worst days Douglas was about to ever experience in his entire life.
So this Indian surgeon examined me and decided that we need to perform a minor incision. That is a minor surgery. So they prepared me and took me to the theater, and they performed a minor incision, and they took out something, they cut, the wound was like this, and they removed that tumor and took it to the lab. So I waited for the results, but I didn't even, follow up, because I knew that my problem was over. So they took out the pain, they took out the problem, so what I was doing, I was following up was only the cleaning of the wound and everything. Struggling with all these in the year of 2018, down there where the incision was done, something was coming back again. The swelling was coming back. So I think the surgery was done, yes, but it was not a detailed surgery. It was not even supposed to be a minor. It was supposed to be a major. They needed to dig it out, like what they did here came.
Each day became a great nightmare for Douglas as his condition became worse even after doctor visits. Another tumor was discovered on his head, and it became a series of tumor after tumor and abscesses and collapsing, with no one to help him back to his feet. Douglas became so frustrated from his condition and even contemplated suicide.
Guys, do you remember the previous chapter we talked about the tumor that was removed on my left thigh and then it reappeared again? So the fact that that tumor reappeared again was the root cause of what has been happening on my head. It was the cause that brought a situation whereby my head had to be operated more than 25 times. So at the middle here is the main factory. I call it the factory because it processes or manufactures all the abscess. Then it distribute them to part of the head that is swollen. Where I'm saying it distributed, the doctor told me that when the abscess is here, it tries to look for another entrance way to ooze the pus. So what it does, it looks for another place.
As days went by, the abscesses on his body multiplied aggressively and could not stop. After days of struggle with pain, Douglas was booked for a major surgery, which was to be conducted on his head that had 10 abscesses.
Okay, there was a little bit of swelling, so he booked me for a major surgery. So there came in one of the surgeons from Asia, an Asian surgeon. She was really nice. So she was examining me, move your cap, let me see, bro, let me see your head. So she was like counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So she was surprised. She was like, oh my God, there's a lot of abscesses, we have to cut you like 10 times.
Amidst all the agony that Douglas went through, his friends and fans and family came through for him financially, physically, of course, and giving the emotional support. And in an update he did in one of his videos on TikTok, he appreciated all those that came through for him without even personally knowing him from across the world. He also got to interact with several other patients with cancer, and they would encourage each other, something that gave him hope and more reason to be strong regardless of what he was going through. The major surgery served a great healing role, and he left the hospital a happy man, and unfortunately, his agony did not end there. As the abscesses recurred, and this time round, it happened to be more than it previously was, and this meant he had to go for surgery again. And remember, all this while, his skin is still shading off, and the face was also becoming worse. Can you imagine going through a procedure that somehow gives you hope that you are on the path to recovery? Then something arises that takes you 10 steps back into the sickness. There is nothing more agonizing as this.
So I went to my doctor's clinic, his private clinic. So I gave him the results, and it was like, it took a minute just to go through it. I was sitting, how you sit in a doctor's office, you sit inside facing. So after a few minutes, I saw him standing up. He stood up and then came close to me, and then he sat on the bed. There's an examination bed. Then he sat there, and then he just touched my shoulder. Like touching my shoulders. He was like, Douglas, I need to tell you something. He's like, hey, don't what's up? In my mind, when they took the tumor out, I didn't know that they were going to test for cancer and everything. I know they just wanted to test what's in that tumor. The cancer never came in my mind. He just told me, Douglas, you were diagnosed with a type of cancer called Cutaneous T-cell Lymphoma. Oh, I was shocked. I felt my skin boiling, I felt there's something that is just, it dug my heart, it just pricked my heart so hard. I felt a very sharp pain in my heart. I felt my whole body I was sweating all over. I even started itching. Then I just realized that my left eye was even shedding a tear. Then he told me, Douglas, don't be stressed. And while he was talking to me, the fact that the word cancer was mentioned, what does that mean? To me, it meant like, the first thing that came to my mind was death. Death, nothing else. Nothing else. So I was there, and he was talking about, Douglas, this is just, you can beat this, it's not dangerous, it's not deadly, you just have to fight it. I was just accepting it. So we finished talking, and then I left there, went to the waiting room and stayed there for more than 2 hours. Don't know how can I even give the news to my wife. How can I give the news to my family, my mother and my brothers?
Douglas lost his nails as a result of getting them stressed from scratching his body, and his nails have never been the same again. And this is on top of him losing his self-esteem and his job as well. He had endless surgeries, unpredicted pain day in, day out, and this became his typical lifestyle. And before he met his life, Douglas made a very emotional post to just let his fans that he was having a very stressful morning, and things were not really well for him. Douglas leaves behind a wife and a son. May his soul rest in eternal peace, and may God give his family strength and courage to carry on throughout this entire sad period. Thank you so much, guys, for keeping it Sauti TV. If you have any comment or anything to say on this story for Douglas, kindly leave your comment on the comment section down below, and we will be glad to hear from you. Please also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Sauti TV KE. I promise to see you again in the next one. Goodbye for now.